everybody. Todd here. Well, today's kind of a bittersweet day. It's the day that I'm going to put a final wash on this motorcycle because tomorrow it's going back to the dealership. Stay tuned. Okay, this is my 2017 Harley-Davidson Street Rod 750. I bought it at the dealership this winter. 28th of January 2021. The bike had 326 miles on it and it was sold to me as brand new, never been titled. Came with a full warranty. I purchased an extended warranty beyond that, and Capitol Harley gave me a guarantee that within the first 12 months, if I decided for any reason that I didn't want to keep this bike and I wanted to give it back to them, they would give me 100% of my money back, you know, so long as I applied it towards a new bike. And that's what I've done. So let's talk a little bit about this bike before I step into the new one. They're no longer selling this bike. They are still building the Street 500 and the Street 750 to be used in the Harley-Davidson schools, the ride schools, but they're not selling this retail anymore. So I love the bike. A lot of people were trashing it because it has the mid-mount pegs, so I have the peg folded up, but that way when I move it, it doesn't get me in the leg. So you can see where that mid-mount peg is. It's right on top of the exhaust. As a matter of fact, you can see there's some goobery stuff right there on the exhaust. Well, that's where somebody's boot got melted on it when they used this in one of their ride schools, where they put it on the machine and they just ride it in place, right? So that was one of the complaints about this particular bike. You know, the other complaint by the Harley purists is this didn't fit the bill. You know, it's not a true Harley type of a bike. This was an attempt to get into the sport bike world, I think. But I can tell you that little fairing, as small as it is, does deflect wind. This thing really gets up and goes. I love the bike, to be honest with you, but you can see it's got those drag bars on it, and for me, that 20% lean forward was just not going to get me to where I wanted to go, because as it turned out, once I really started riding, I decided I wanted to go on longer rides. I could see myself doing, you know, maybe some overnight kind of trips or whatever. Even riding this up to our cabin that's 2 hours and 45 minutes away is a long ride on this bike. So I'm going to go ahead and take them up on their offer. So I'm giving them the bike back. They're giving me every dime I paid for it back to be applied towards the new bike. I ordered a bike on June the 1st, and bike is in, and they are going to deliver me the new bike and pick this bike up in a day or so. So I'm going to go ahead and ready it by washing it up and getting it ready to go back. One of the criticisms that you'll see a lot with people doing YouTube videos is that the tank is really wide, and with those mid-mount pegs, you had to kind of splay your legs out wide, and it put your hips at a weird angle because the pegs are down. But I got to tell you, I found it extremely comfortable, no problem whatsoever. I could ride this thing for an hour, and my feet, my legs, none of that were a problem. I'm 5'8". I got no problem with it. The bars are comfortable, but again, that 20% lean angle gets to you after a while. Your shoulders start to feel it, your back starts to feel it. But I'm super pleased with this motorcycle, and frankly, it has way more than enough oomph for my taste. I mean, it's really torquey. In first and second gear, if you're not careful, it can buck you right off. And so I've had no problem. I have ridden it with bigger bikes, and I had one of the guys that I was riding with, big bike, goosed it and thought he was going to leave me in the dust, only to find out when he looked in his mirror I was right on his tail. So this thing will run with anybody up to about 85 miles an hour. After that, I'm not sure you got any business going faster than that anyhow. So, you know, I just want to say, for any of you people that are thinking about buying one of these used, don't hesitate, but do understand that is a mid-mount, and those do set up a little bit high. I didn't have any problem figuring out, you know, you got to put your heel on that heel plate and then your boot on that. But I mean, honestly, once you kind of train yourself to look for that, I didn't really have any problem with that at all. So I'm super happy with the bike. I can't say anything bad about it. So I'm not sending it back because it's not a good bike. I'm not sending it back because of all the stuff you see on YouTube about it. I'm sending it back because I want to move up into a better bike, different bike, to suit my style of riding. So I'm giving it a good scrubbing. I don't want to return it filthy. So yeah, again, great bike. If you want a sport bike and you want a Harley, and this has a slip-on on it for the exhaust, so it's got that Harley rumble for sure. The thing is really awesome. Really awesome. And that was the kind of riding I was going to do. Just bugging around town, going on short rides. I mean, it's got a 40% lean angle. You can't ask for more than that if you're going to ride responsibly. So, all right, let's get her all cleaned up. And there we go. 1,763 miles on it. And got her all cleaned up as good as I'm going to clean it. Ready to send her back. Okay, I get the bike all cleaned up and it's ready to go back. So I guess that's going to be a wrap for today's video. I appreciate you tagging along. And if you do me a favor and hit that like button, it would really help me out. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button as well. So I'll see you back here on the next one.